In the glittering heart of Silicon Valley, where empires rise from lines of code, Elizabeth Harper stands as a titan, her $5 billion AI conglomerate a testament to her relentless drive. Yet, beneath her polished exterior, a wound festers. A mother's grief for twin daughters stolen at birth, their tiny cries silenced by a lie that shattered her world. 9 years ago, her ex-husband, Dr. Nathan Pierce, delivered the devastating news. Her babies hadn't survived. She believed him, burying her pain in boardroom victories. But one electrifying moment at a San Francisco gala changes everything. Across a crowded ballroom, she locks eyes with two girls, their faces hauntingly familiar. Standing beside the man who betrayed her, her heart screams what her mind dares not accept. Her daughters are alive. As whispers of a sinister conspiracy unravel, Elizabeth's empire becomes her weapon, her grief her fuel. She will tear through lies, cross oceans, and face a global syndicate to reclaim her children. The truth is a ticking bomb, and Elizabeth Harper is ready to detonate it, no matter the cost. What would you sacrifice to uncover a truth that could destroy everything? The glass walls of Harper Innovations headquarters gleamed under Silicon Valley's relentless sun, reflecting the ambition that had propelled Elizabeth Harper, at 38, to the pinnacle of the tech world. Her AI-driven healthcare platform, valued at $5 billion, revolutionized diagnostics, earning her a spot on Forbes' Most Powerful Women list. Yet, as she stood at the head of a sleek conference table, her sapphire blue eyes dissecting quarterly projections with surgical precision, a shadow lingered beneath her tailored blazer. 9 years ago, her twin daughters, Ava and Lily, were torn from her arms hours after birth, their deaths announced by her then-husband, Dr. Nathan Pierce. The loss had carved a hollow in her chest, one she filled with work, transforming grief into a relentless pursuit of success. Elizabeth's office, perched on the 30th floor, was a fortress of minimalism, white marble, chrome accents. No photographs. Her team revered her, but her assistant, Sophie Reed, noticed the cracks, the way Elizabeth's fingers froze over pediatric AI proposals, the curt refusal of invitations to children's charity events. Sophie, a sharp 29-year-old with a knack for reading people, had seen Elizabeth's jaw tighten when a colleague mentioned her twin's birthday. "Mrs. Harper," Sophie ventured once, "maybe a therapist could." Elizabeth's glare silenced her. "I don't need fixing, Sophie. I need results." Her college friend, Claire Morgan, was less intimidated. Over coffee in Palo Alto, Claire, a human rights lawyer, pressed gently. "Liz, you've built an empire, but you're living like a ghost. When did you last laugh?" Elizabeth's response was clipped. "Laughter doesn't close deals." But Claire's words stung. Elizabeth's life was a machine for AM workouts, 18-hour workdays, sleeping pills to quiet dreams of empty cribs. Her black wardrobe mirrored her isolation, each outfit a shield against vulnerability. 9 years earlier, in Stanford Medical Center, Elizabeth, then 29, had endured a grueling 20-hour labor. Nathan, a rising obstetrician, stood by her side, his calm voice a lifeline. The twins' cries at 2:47 a.m. were her triumph. But joy turned to terror when Nathan's face darkened. "Complications," he'd said, his tone clinical. They didn't make it. Sedated and shattered, Elizabeth never saw their bodies, never held a funeral. Nathan's insistence that closure would harm her mental health became her prison. Now, Elizabeth channeled that pain into her empire. Her AI algorithms saved lives, but not her own. Board members whispered about her ruthlessness, unaware of the mother's heart buried beneath. Sophie once found her staring at an ultrasound photo tucked in a locked drawer, her fingers tracing Ava's profile. "They'd be 9 now," Elizabeth whispered, then snapped the drawer shut. As she prepared for a San Francisco gala, Elizabeth's reflection in her penthouse mirror showed a woman forged in fire, successful, untouchable, alone. Her empire was her legacy, but her daughter's absence was her truth. What she didn't know, as she slipped into a midnight blue gown, was that the gala would ignite a spark. A chance encounter that would unravel Nathan's lies and set her on a collision course with a truth so explosive it could topple everything she'd built. The past, it seemed, was not content to stay buried. The San Francisco gala glittered under chandeliers, a symphony of clinking glasses and murmured philanthropy. Elizabeth Harper navigated the ballroom with practiced grace, her midnight blue gown a stark contrast to the pastel elegance around her. She was there to represent Harper Innovations, her presence a nod to the company's pediatric AI initiatives. But her stomach churned at the sight of families, their laughter a reminder of what she'd lost. Sophie had insisted she attend, citing PR benefits, but Elizabeth planned a swift exit. Then, across the crowded room, her world tilted. Dr. Nathan Pierce stood near a display for his Pierce Trust for Orphan Youth, his silver-streaked hair catching the light. He was older, but his charisma was unchanged, drawing admirers like moths. Beside him were two girls, about 9, in matching navy dresses. Their light brown curls and delicate noses stopped Elizabeth cold. They had her cheekbones, Nathan's jawline. Her champagne flute trembled as she stared, heart pounding with a mother's instinct she'd buried for nearly a decade. "It can't be," she whispered, but her feet moved before her mind could argue. Approaching, Elizabeth caught Nathan's eye. His smile faltered, a flicker of panic crossing his face before he recovered. "Elizabeth, what a surprise," he said, voice smooth but strained. The girls glanced up, their gray eyes, her eyes, piercing her soul. "These are my wards, Emily and Grace," Nathan added quickly, steering them away. Elizabeth's breath hitched. The names were wrong, but their faces were a mirror of her ultrasound dreams. Back at her table, Elizabeth's mind raced. Nathan's trust, lauded for rescuing orphans, suddenly felt like a facade. Why had he looked guilty? Why did those girls feel like hers? Claire, seated beside her, noticed her pallor. "Liz, you're shaking. What's wrong?" Elizabeth's voice was barely audible. "I think I just saw my daughters." Claire's eyes widened, but she didn't dismiss it. "You need answers. Now." That night, in her Pacific Heights penthouse, Elizabeth couldn't sleep. The girls' faces haunted her, their familiarity a taunt. She pulled out the ultrasound photos, comparing them to her memory of Emily and Grace. The resemblance was uncanny. Nathan's words from 9 years ago, they didn't survive. "Liz, trust me," now rang hollow. Had he lied? The thought was a blade, slicing through years of suppressed grief. By dawn, Elizabeth was on the phone with Daniel Hayes, a private investigator Claire had recommended during a corporate espionage case. "I need a background check on the Pierce Trust," she said, her voice steel. Discreet, thorough, no contact with Nathan. Daniel, a grizzled ex-cop, sensed her urgency. "What are we looking for?" Elizabeth hesitated, then spoke the impossible. "Proof my daughters are alive." As she hung up, Elizabeth stared at San Francisco's skyline, the Golden Gate Bridge a faint silhouette. Her empire had taught her to trust data, not emotion, but her heart screamed otherwise. Nathan's panic, the girls' faces, her own unrelenting grief. They were pieces of a puzzle she couldn't ignore. The gala had lit a fuse, and Elizabeth Harper, tech titan and grieving mother, was ready to chase the explosion, no matter where it led. Daniel Hayes' office in Oakland was a stark contrast to Elizabeth's sleek headquarters, cluttered, smelling of stale coffee. But it radiated competence. Elizabeth sat across from him, her tailored suit out of place among file cabinets. Daniel, 55, with a weathered face and sharp eyes, spread documents across his desk. "The Pierce Trust is clean on paper," he began, "but it's too clean. No charity this big operates with so little transparency." Elizabeth's pulse quickened. "What did you find?" Daniel's report was meticulous. The trust, established in 2016, claimed to rescue orphans, yet its adoption records were vague, listing only 10 placements in 9 years. Financials showed $3 million in annual donations, but expenses were opaque. No staff lists, no program details. "Most charities flaunt their success," Daniel said. "Pierce hides his." Elizabeth's mind flashed to Nathan's gala display, all glossy photos and no substance. "There's more," Daniel added. "The trust owns a 150-acre compound in Mendocino County. Fenced, guarded. No local oversight. It's a fortress, not a home." Elizabeth's hands clenched. "What about the girls I saw?" Daniel slid over grainy photos from the gala, captured by a hired photographer. Emily and Grace, their faces clear, stared back. "No birth records under those names," he said. "They appeared in the trust care in 2016, age 1. No prior history." Elizabeth's breath caught. Her twins would be 9 now, born in 2015. The math was too precise. Daniel's next revelation chilled her. "I cross-checked Nathan's medical practice. In 2015, 12 newborns died under his care at Stanford Medical, all attributed to complications. No autopsies, no second signatures, just his word. Elizabeth's vision blurred. She remembered Nathan's clinical detachment, his refusal to let her see the twins' bodies. He said it would break me, she whispered. Daniel's eyes softened. I think he was covering something bigger. Elizabeth returned to her penthouse, the city's lights mocking her turmoil. She opened her laptop, searching Nathan's trust website. It was polished, but the success stories were generic, the children's faces blurred. Sophie, working late, noticed her agitation. Mrs. Harper, you're scaring me. Elizabeth's voice was iron. Cancel my week. I'm chasing a ghost. Sophie hesitated, then nodded, sensing the shift in her boss. Claire met her for dinner, her lawyer's instincts on high alert. If Nathan's hiding kids, it's not just your twins. She warned. This could be a network. Elizabeth's resolve hardened. Then I'll tear it apart. She tasked Daniel with deeper digging, property records, donor lists, anything to crack the trust facade. By week's end, he found a lead, a nurse, Dr. Emily Walsh, who'd worked with Nathan during her delivery. Walsh had left Stanford abruptly in 2015, now living in Seattle under a new name. Elizabeth's empire gave her resources, but this fight was personal. She stood at her window, the ultrasound photos clutched tight. Ava and Lily. If they were alive, were out there, believing a lie. Nathan's trust wasn't just suspicious, it was a vault, locking away truths she'd been too broken to question. As Daniel prepared to track Walsh, Elizabeth felt a fire ignite. She wasn't just a CEO anymore. She was a mother, and she would burn Nathan's world to ashes to find her daughters. Elizabeth's penthouse was a war room, its marble table buried under Daniel's files. His latest report landed like a grenade. Nathan didn't just lie about your twins, he said, his voice grim. He's been faking infant deaths for years, kidnapping them for his trust. Elizabeth's heart pounded as she scanned the evidence. Forged death certificates, all signed by Nathan, for 20 newborns between 2014 and 2017. Each case mirrored hers. No autopsies, no secondary medical records, just Nathan's word. He told parents their babies died, Daniel continued, then funneled them into his trust as orphans. The Mendocino compound was the key. Satellite images showed a fortified estate, high fences, security cameras, no community ties. Daniel's informant, a former guard, described children living in strict routines, never leaving the property. They're healthy but controlled, he'd said, like they're being prepped for something. Elizabeth's blood ran cold. Photos from the compound, smuggled by the informant, showed two girls with her twins' features, now 9, playing under supervision. A birthmark on one's wrist, a crescent moon, matched Ava's ultrasound. It's them, Elizabeth whispered, tears burning her eyes. Dr. Emily Walsh's testimony, secured after Daniel tracked her to Seattle, was the final nail. Walsh, now a medical sales rep, was haunted by 2015. Nathan pressured me to sign off on your twins' death certificates, she confessed, voice trembling. There were no bodies. He said it was for the parents' sake, but I saw him move the babies to a private ward. Walsh fled when Nathan threatened her license. He had power, she said. I was terrified. Elizabeth's mind reeled. Nathan hadn't just stolen her daughters. He'd built a system to erase children from their families, exploiting vulnerable parents. She revisited her hospital records, finding Nathan's signatures on every page, no other staff mentioned. A memory surfaced, Walsh arguing with Nathan in the recovery room, her voice urgent about protocol. Nathan had silenced her, insisting he'd handle the family. Elizabeth had been too drugged to question it. Now, it screamed conspiracy. Claire, reviewing the evidence, was blunt. This is kidnapping, Liz. Federal crime. Maybe international. Elizabeth's resolve was diamond hard. Then we go bigger. She tasked Daniel with mapping the trust's operations, focusing on the children's destinations. Sophie, now privy to the investigation, worked late, pulling financials. There's a pattern, she said. Large donations from anonymous sources, no trace of where the money goes. Elizabeth's AI expertise kicked in. She ran the trust's public data through her algorithms, flagging anomalies that pointed to hidden accounts. By week's end, Daniel confirmed the worst. The trust wasn't just a local operation. It was a pipeline, moving children to private adoptions with minimal oversight. Elizabeth stared at the compound photos, Ava and Lily's faces a beacon. They were alive, but trapped in Nathan's lie, believing they were unwanted. Her empire's resources, data analytics, legal teams, global contacts, were now weapons. Nathan had underestimated her, thinking grief would keep her compliant. He was wrong. Elizabeth Harper, mother and mogul, was ready to dismantle his world, piece by piece, to bring her daughters home. The truth was no longer a question. It was a weapon, and she would wield it mercilessly. Elizabeth's office buzzed with urgency, her AI team repurposed to dissect the Pierce Trust financials. Sophie's analysis had flagged irregular transactions, millions funneled through shell companies in the Cayman Islands. Elizabeth's algorithms, designed for medical diagnostics, now hunted a different kind of anomaly, a global syndicate profiting from stolen children. Daniel's latest report confirmed her fears. Nathan's trust is a front, he said, spreading bank records across her desk. Donations flow to offshore accounts, then to private adoption agencies in Europe and Asia. These kids aren't just being hidden, they're being sold. The scale was staggering. Daniel traced 15 children from the Mendocino compound to international placements, their records sealed by a Cayman-based law firm known for skirting regulations. Elizabeth's heart sank as she studied the data. Ava and Lily were still in California, but others had vanished overseas. How does he get away with this? She demanded. Daniel's answer was grim. Corrupt officials, bribed hospital staff. Parents too broken to question complications. Nathan's built a machine, Elizabeth. You're not just fighting him, you're fighting a network. A breakthrough came when Elizabeth's AI flagged a recurring donor, a Luxembourg foundation linked to a black market adoption ring. She cross-referenced it with Nathan's travel records, obtained via Daniel's contacts. Nathan had visited the Cayman Islands 6 times since 2016, each trip coinciding with large trust deposits. He's not just a doctor, Elizabeth realized, her voice cold. He's a trafficker. Claire, now fully on board, warned, this is bigger than we thought. You'll need federal help to crack it. Elizabeth reached out to FBI agent Laura Bennett, a former classmate with a reputation for dismantling trafficking rings. Laura, 40, with a no-nonsense demeanor, met her in a discreet San Jose cafe. Your evidence is compelling, Laura said, reviewing Daniel's files. But we need hard proof, bank transfers, witness testimony, something to tie Nathan to the international deals. Elizabeth's resolve didn't waver. I'll get it. Whatever it takes. Daniel's team hacked into the trust's encrypted server, a risky move that yielded gold. Emails between Nathan and a Cayman banker discussing placements for high-value assets. One email mentioned the Harper twins, confirming Ava and Lily's value to the syndicate. Elizabeth's blood boiled. Her daughters weren't assets, they were her heart, stolen and commoditized. The emails also named a contact in London, a broker for elite adoptions. They're selling kids to the highest bidder, Daniel said, his voice heavy. Your girls are still here, but they're next. Elizabeth's empire swung into action. Her legal team prepared dossiers for Laura, while her tech team traced the Cayman accounts to a Swiss bank. Sophie, working overtime, found a hospital whistleblower in London who'd seen Nathan in 2017, delivering a rescued child to a private jet. The pieces clicked. Nathan's trust was a global pipeline, exploiting grief and bureaucracy to traffic children across borders. Standing at her penthouse window, Elizabeth clutched Ava's ultrasound, the crescent birthmark a lifeline. The syndicate's reach was vast, but her resources were vaster. She'd built an empire from nothing, she could destroy one. As Laura mobilized an FBI task force, Elizabeth prepared for war. Nathan's lies had spanned continents, but her love for her daughters spanned further. The syndicate thought they were untouchable. They hadn't met Elizabeth Harper. The San Francisco Tech Summit buzzed with innovation, its glass-domed hall packed with industry giants and media. Elizabeth Harper, in a tailored black suit, stood at the back, her heart a war drum. Nathan Pierce was a keynote speaker, his Pierce Trust lauded as a humanitarian triumph. On stage, he radiated charm, touting AI for orphaned youth. Elizabeth's evidence, DNA tests, surveillance footage, hacked emails, burned in her briefcase. Tonight, she'd end his charade. Laura Bennett's FBI team was positioned discreetly, ready to act. Claire and Daniel flanked Elizabeth, their presence a reminder of her allies. Sophie had leaked the summit's agenda to tech blogs, ensuring global coverage. As Nathan spoke, Elizabeth's eyes locked on two girls in the front row, Ava and Lily, introduced as trust ambassadors. Their crescent birthmarks, visible under stage lights, were her proof. Her daughters, alive, brainwashed to call Nathan savior. "Ladies and gentlemen," Elizabeth interrupted, striding down the aisle, her voice amplified by a commandeered microphone. The room hushed, cameras swiveling. Nathan's face drained of color. Dr. Pierce's trust isn't saving children, it's stealing them. Gasps rippled as she projected ultrasound images beside recent photos of Ava and Lily. "These are my daughters, declared dead in 2015. Nathan kidnapped them." The audience froze, Nathan stammering. "This is absurd. Elizabeth is unstable." Elizabeth cut him off, displaying DNA results. "My twins, Ava and Lily, are alive, raised as orphans by a man who faked their deaths." She revealed hacked emails detailing Nathan's Cayman deals. He's trafficked dozens of children, profiting from parental grief. The crowd erupted, reporters scrambling. Nathan bolted for the exit, but Laura's agents blocked him, cuffs ready. Ava and Lily stared, confused, their gray eyes meeting Elizabeth's. Her heart ached. They didn't know her, but she saw their fear. "You're not alone," she mouthed, tears brimming. Nathan's desperation peaked. "I gave them better lives," he shouted, incriminating himself. Laura stepped forward. "Dr. Pierce, you're under arrest." The cuffs clicked, his empire crumbling under the summit's lights. Elizabeth's voice rose, unwavering. "This isn't just my story. 60 families lost children to Nathan's lies." She showed photos of other stolen kids, their faces projected for the world. The audience, from tech CEOs to activists, was riveted, some weeping. Social media exploded, hashtags trending globally. Elizabeth's gamble had worked, Nathan's facade was shattered. His syndicate exposed. As security escorted Nathan out, he glared at Elizabeth, his charm replaced by venom. "You'll regret this," he hissed. She met his gaze, unflinching. "You stole my daughters. Regret is yours." The girls were ushered backstage by social workers, their confusion palpable. Elizabeth longed to hold them, but Laura warned restraint. "They need time," she said. Elizabeth nodded, her resolve steel. She'd won the battle, but the war for her daughters' hearts was just beginning. The summit's aftermath was chaos. Reporters swarmed, allies rallied. Elizabeth stood firm. Her empire's resources now a global beacon. Nathan's arrest was only the start. The syndicate's roots ran deep, but so did her determination. Ava and Lily were steps away, their birthmarks a promise. Elizabeth Harper, mother and warrior, had ignited a reckoning, and she wouldn't stop until every stolen child was home. The FBI's San Francisco field office was a hive of activity, its conference room overtaken by Elizabeth's war council. Laura Bennett led the charge, her task force armed with Elizabeth's dossiers, bank records, emails, witness statements. Elizabeth, Claire, and Daniel worked tirelessly, their goal singular: dismantle Nathan's syndicate. The summit's fallout had unleashed a global firestorm, with Interpol joining the hunt. Elizabeth's AI team traced Cayman accounts to a Swiss bank, exposing a network spanning 3 continents. "We've identified 50 children," Laura reported, "but there are more." Elizabeth's empire fueled the operation. Her legal team pressured foreign governments, while her tech division hacked syndicate servers, uncovering adoption contracts in London, Dubai, and Singapore. Daniel's contacts infiltrated a Paris agency, rescuing 3 children slated for placement. Each victory was bittersweet. Every child saved wasn't Ava or Lily. Still in protective custody, Elizabeth visited them daily, their confusion a knife in her heart. "Why do you look like us?" Lily asked once, her crescent birthmark stark. Elizabeth smiled through tears. "Because I'm your mom." Laura's team raided the Mendocino compound, finding 12 children and forged records. The guard, now a witness, detailed Nathan's system: bribed nurses, fake death certificates, offshore payments. Elizabeth's algorithms cross-referenced hospital data, identifying 60 families targeted since 2014. She reached out, parent to parent. Her calls met with sobs and disbelief. "My son didn't die," one mother cried. Elizabeth's voice cracked. "We'll find him." The syndicate's collapse was swift but brutal. In London, Daniel's team arrested a broker linked to Nathan's emails. In Dubai, Laura's Interpol allies seized a private jet carrying 2 stolen infants. Elizabeth funded safe houses, ensuring rescued children received care. Her AI flagged a corrupt California judge who'd sealed adoption records, leading to his arrest. The network unraveled, each thread exposing Nathan's arrogance. He'd thought his charm untouchable. Claire, drafting legal reforms, marveled at Elizabeth's transformation. "You're not just saving your kids, you're rewriting the system." Elizabeth's response was fierce. No child should be stolen because a parent trusts a doctor. Sophie, now her confidant, coordinated media, amplifying the story. Hashtags like #HarperJustice trended, pressuring lawmakers. Elizabeth testified before Congress, her evidence sparking adoption law overhauls. The hardest moments were with Ava and Lily. In a supervised visitation room, they clutched each other, wary of Elizabeth. "Nathan said our mom was sick," Ava whispered. Elizabeth showed them ultrasound photos, her voice steady. "I never stopped looking for you." Their therapist, Dr. Karen Ellis, guided trust building, but progress was slow. Elizabeth's heart ached, but her resolve held. She'd wait forever. By month's end, 50 children were reunited with families, 20 syndicate members arrested, and $10 million in assets seized. Elizabeth's penthouse, once sterile, now held Ava's drawings, a sign of hope. Laura warned the syndicate's masterminds remained at large, but Elizabeth was undaunted. Her empire, once a shield, was now a sword, cutting through lies. Nathan's network had underestimated her love, her resources, her fury. As she watched San Francisco's skyline, Elizabeth knew this was her legacy, not just for Ava and Lily, but for every stolen child. The fight wasn't over, but she'd already changed the world, one truth at a time. The San Francisco federal courthouse loomed, its marble facade a fitting stage for Nathan Pierce's reckoning. Elizabeth Harper sat in the gallery, her black blazer a symbol of resolve, as prosecutors unveiled a case built on her evidence. Nathan, in a prison jumpsuit, looked diminished, his charm erased by handcuffs. The charges, kidnapping, fraud, conspiracy, carried a life sentence. Elizabeth's testimony, delivered with icy precision, detailed 9 years of lies. Her twins' stolen childhoods, and 60 families shattered by a syndicate. The courtroom, packed with media and victims' families, hung on her every word. Laura Bennett's FBI investigation, fueled by Elizabeth's dossiers, exposed the syndicate's scope. 62 children stolen, 43 families deceived, $15 million laundered through Cayman accounts. Nathan's trust was a facade. Its orphans trafficked to elite buyers. Witnesses, nurses, guards, even Dr. Emily Walsh corroborated Elizabeth's findings. Walsh's tearful testimony about forging death certificates under Nathan's threats sealed his fate. "He said it was mercy," she sobbed. Elizabeth's gaze never left Nathan, who avoided her eyes. His arrogance crumbled. The trial was a media circus, with Elizabeth's summit confrontation replayed globally. Hashtags like #JusticeForStolenChildren trended, amplifying public outrage. Claire, now advising lawmakers, drafted bills to tighten adoption oversight. Sophie managed Harper Innovations' PR, framing Elizabeth as a crusader. Families contacted Elizabeth, their stories mirroring hers. One father, sobbing, clutched a photo of his dead daughter, now found in London. "You gave us hope," he said. Elizabeth's heart swelled. But her focus remained on Ava and Lily. Nathan's defense was desperate, claiming he saved children from unfit parents. Elizabeth was unstable, he argued, citing her postpartum grief. Elizabeth's rebuttal was devastating. "You drugged me, lied about my daughter's deaths, and sold them to strangers." DNA evidence, ultrasound matches, and Ava's crescent birthmark crushed his lies. The jury deliberated 3 hours, returning with a guilty verdict. Nathan's life sentence without parole felt like justice, but not closure. The trial's ripple effects were seismic. Congress passed the Harper Act, mandating hospital transparency for infant deaths. International treaties tightened adoption regulations, with Elizabeth's AI monitoring compliance. Her legal team sued Nathan's estate, redirecting $8 million to victims' restitution. Yet, Elizabeth's victory was bittersweet. Ava and Lily, still in foster care, struggled with Nathan's brainwashing. "He said you didn't want us," Lily whispered during a visit. Elizabeth showed them a locket with their newborn photos. "I never stopped loving you." Post-trial, Elizabeth faced a flood of families seeking help. She hired Daniel to trace remaining children, his team rescuing 5 from a Thai orphanage. Laura's task force arrested 30 syndicate operatives. But some masterminds remained at large. Elizabeth didn't flinch. Her empire's resources, tech, capital, influence were now a global shield. Sophie, inspired, launched a victim support hotline. Claire noted Elizabeth's transformation. "You're not just a CEO, you're a movement." As Nathan was led away, Elizabeth stood outside the courthouse, San Francisco's fog enveloping her. Justice was served, but her daughter's trust was her next battle. The trial had exposed a wound in the system, and Elizabeth's fight had stitched it shut. Her legacy wasn't just her empire. It was the families she'd reunited, the laws she'd changed. Nathan's crimes had broken her, but she'd rebuilt herself, stronger, for Ava, Lily, and every stolen child. The San Francisco Family Visitation Center was sterile, its beige walls a stark contrast to Elizabeth Harper's racing heart. She sat, hands trembling, awaiting Ava and Lily. Now 9, for their first unsupervised meeting since Nathan's trial. Dr. Karen Ellis, their therapist, had spent months preparing them, unraveling Nathan's lies that their mother had abandoned them. Elizabeth clutched a scrapbook, ultrasound photos, hospital bands, her letters to her lost twins. Today, she'd show them their truth. The door opened, and Ava and Lily entered, hesitant, their crescent birthmarks visible on their wrists. Social workers stepped back, giving space. Elizabeth's breath caught. They had her gray eyes, her stubborn chin. "Hi," she said softly, voice breaking. Ava, bolder, studied her. "You're the lady from the news." Lily clung to her sister, wary. Elizabeth smiled, tears brimming. "I'm your mom. I've been looking for you every day." Dr. Ellis had warned of resistance. Nathan's brainwashing ran deep, convincing the girls they were unwanted. "He said our mom was sick," Ava said, eyes searching Elizabeth's face. Elizabeth opened the scrapbook, showing Ava's ultrasound. "This is you, with that crescent mark. I loved you before you were born." Lily edged closer, curious. "Why didn't you find us sooner?" The question pierced, but Elizabeth answered honestly. "Nathan lied. He told me you died. I believed him because I was broken." The girls' confusion was palpable, but Elizabeth was patient. She showed them a video from Harper Innovations, her team celebrating their 9th birthday annually, a ritual of hope. "I never stopped," she said. Ava touched the scrapbook, tracing her name. "Ava means life," Elizabeth explained. "Lily means purity. I chose them because you're my miracles." Lily's eyes softened, a crack in her defenses. Weeks passed, visits lengthening. Elizabeth moved them to her Marin County estate, its gardens a haven for healing. Ava loved coding, her quick mind mirroring Elizabeth's. Lily painted, her art filling the once sterile walls. But nights were hard. Nightmares of Nathan's home haunted them. Elizabeth sat by their beds, singing lullabies she'd dreamed of singing. "You're safe now," she whispered. Her empire's power dwarfed by this promise. Claire visited, marveling at their progress. "You're building a family from ashes," she said. Sophie, now a confidant, organized playdates, easing the girls' transition. Dr. Ellis guided trust building, but moments of doubt lingered. "What if we're not enough?" Ava asked once. Elizabeth knelt, showing her locket. "You're everything. Always were." By spring, the girls called her mom, a word that rebuilt Elizabeth's world. They attended therapy together, confronting Nathan's lies. Elizabeth's honesty about her grief. Her fight bridged their gap. "I thought you didn't want us," Lily admitted, hugging her. Elizabeth's tears fell. "I'd have torn down the sky for you." She looked at her daughters, their laughter a melody she'd chased for 9 years. Nathan had stolen their past, but Elizabeth had reclaimed their future. Her fight wasn't just for them. It was for every child longing for home. As they planted a garden, roots taking hold, Elizabeth knew love was her greatest innovation, and her daughters were its proof. Elizabeth Harper stood on the stage of her Marin County estate, the Pacific Ocean gleaming behind her. The launch of the Harper Alliance for Child Safety drew global leaders, survivors, and media. Her $5 billion empire now funded a mission: protect children from trafficking and reunite stolen families. Ava and Lily, now thriving at 10, sat in the front row. Their crescent birthmarks a testament to their mother's fight. Elizabeth's voice, once reserved for boardrooms, carried a new fire. "No child should be erased," she declared. "And no parent should grieve a lie." The alliance was her legacy reborn. Harper Innovations' AI now monitored adoption agencies, flagging irregularities. Elizabeth's legal team, led by Claire, drafted global treaties adopted by 30 nations. Daniel Hayes headed investigations, rescuing 25 children from a Brazilian syndicate in the alliance's first year. Sophie ran outreach, her hotline connecting 200 families to resources. "You've turned pain into power," Sophie said, watching Elizabeth mentor survivors. Elizabeth smiled, thinking of Ava's coding award. Lily's mural in the Alliance's office. "My daughters taught me that." The Alliance's headquarters, a glass campus in San Jose, buzzed with purpose. Elizabeth's algorithms tracked trafficking patterns, saving 10 children monthly. She funded safe houses in 12 countries, ensuring care for rescued kids. Families she'd reunited, 60 and counting, attended the launch, their gratitude humbling. A mother from Texas, holding her found son, sobbed, "You gave us back our life." Elizabeth hugged her, remembering her own despair. Ava and Lily joined her work, their resilience inspiring. Ava coded an app for missing children alerts, while Lily's art raised funds. "Mom, we're helping kids like us," Ava said, her gray eyes bright. Elizabeth's heart swelled. They were her miracles. But their strength was their own. Therapy had healed their wounds, though Nathan's shadow lingered. "He's gone," Lily said once, planting a tree for new beginnings. Elizabeth nodded. Her empire, now a shield for others. The Alliance faced challenges. Syndicate remnants targeted Elizabeth, hacking her servers. Daniel's team neutralized the threat, but Laura warned, "They're still out there." Elizabeth didn't flinch. Her security, bolstered by AI, was ironclad. She testified at the UN, her data sparking global reforms. "Every child deserves a home," she said. Ava and Lily watching proudly. Media dubbed her the Mother of Justice, a title she wore for every family she'd saved. At home, Elizabeth's estate was alive. Family dinners, Ava's coding marathons. Lily's paint-splattered smocks. Claire, now a board member, noted the change. "You're whole again, Liz." Elizabeth looked at her daughters, playing in the garden. "They made me whole." Her pain had forged a movement, her grief a weapon against evil. The Alliance had reunited 80 families, exposed 3 trafficking rings, and changed laws. Elizabeth's fight wasn't over. But her purpose was clear. As she watched Ava and Lily laugh, their trees thriving in the yard, Elizabeth knew her empire was more than code or capital. It was love, resilience, truth. She'd built a world where no mother would grieve a lie, no child would call a captor savior. Her daughters were her heart, the Alliance her soul, and together, they'd ensure no family was broken by deception again. Elizabeth Harper's journey teaches us that love and truth are forces no lie can withstand. Her story, born from the ashes of unimaginable loss, reveals the unbreakable bond between a mother and her children. Nathan Pierce's deception, stealing Ava and Lily, convincing Elizabeth they were dead, could have destroyed her. Instead, it forged a warrior. Her grief, once a prison, became her strength, driving her to dismantle a global syndicate and reunite 80 families. Elizabeth's empire, built on AI and ambition, proved that resources, wielded with courage, can rewrite destinies. Her daughter's crescent birthmarks, once symbols of loss, became beacons of hope, proof that love endures beyond time, lies, or borders. This is the lesson. No darkness is too deep when you fight for what's yours. Evil may break families, but resilience, fueled by truth, heals them. Elizabeth's alliance stands as a testament. Pain can birth purpose, and one woman's fight can change the world. We all carry battles, losses that test our core. Elizabeth's story asks, what truth are you chasing? What love will you fight for? The Harper Alliance continues, saving children, healing families, but it needs you. Share your strength. Comment one word that defines your resilience today. Join the movement at harperalliance.org. Volunteer, donate, or amplify our mission. Every voice matters. Every action saves a child. Together, we can ensure no mother grieves a lie. No child calls a captor home. Be part of the truth. Act now.